The well, Hallum was one of several demonstration plants that the AEC financed. The idea at that time was to find out which technology worked best, which was more feasible to develop commercially. And after what that was 1967, I guess, when we had the moderator leaks, and the AEC decided they had enough information that they didn't need to pursue sodium graphite anymore because it seemed like too difficult, too expensive. So the plant was closed down, and I came back to Savannah to work on the Sodium Technology Laboratory. We were developing instrumentation, pumps, cold traps, and generally sodium systems, plus other exotic generating systems, which mostly haven't produced anything. After I left Atomics International in the early 70s, 71, I guess, I went to work for Fluor Engineers, and my first assignment there was as an engineering manager on the design of a plutonium laboratory for Los Alamos. Los Alamos had plutonium in various caches all over the campus, and they felt that they needed to get it in one easily controlled place, which was controllable and security, easy to secure. So we built the building, or we designed the building, had it built by subcontractors, and it's still operating. Back at Fluor, I worked on several miscellaneous jobs, moved into quality assurance. Fluor didn't have a quality assurance program at that time, so I set one up. And then the British got interested in the Los Alamos plutonium lab. So they came to talk to us about building a similar laboratory for them. Fluor had an office in London. So we took the British engineers out to Los Alamos and showed them what we had done there and discussed how we could do it better or different and cheaper. And I went to London for several weeks to help them get started on the design of their plant, which was built at their place, which I can't think of the name of at the second. Came back to Fluor and retired from Fluor in 1984. Went to work for a consulting firm, management analysis company, and this was 84, yeah. They sent me first to New York State, Upper New York State, to work with a team at the 7 Mile Island nuclear plant, which is I think around 1,000 megawatt think it was a boiling water reactor. And the power company had gotten crossways with the NRC, so they had essentially been shut down until they could prove they had a viable quality assurance program. And to do that, we had to go through their entire history. The NRC had provided about 100 questions concerning safety primarily, and our job was to answer these questions in a satisfactory manner for the NRC. That took a couple of years, and the plant is now running quite successfully. From New York State, I went to Hanford. Hanford, at that time, the NRC was looking, or rather the Energy Commission. The Energy Commission was looking at 3 possible ways to dispose of spent nuclear fuel. One of these was bury it in a salt mine in Deaf Smith County, Texas, where the salt had been unperturbed for several million years. Another was a basalt granite mine in Hanford, Washington, where a volcano many million years ago had placed a core of basalt several thousand feet deep. And the third was at Yucca Mountain, where there was a tough volcanic ash mountain where they thought they could do it. So we were pursuing those 3 alternatives in parallel. And I'd say I worked at Hanford for a couple of years, which I still personally think was probably the best choice. But Congress, in its wisdom, decided that they would put all their eggs in Yucca Mountain and shut down the Hanford plant and the Deaf Smith facility. So from Hanford, I went to Savannah River project, where I worked on the quality assurance for the glass melter. They were building a glass melting plant to bury their waste fuel in molten glass, which is held up for millenniums without deterioration. So I stayed there a couple of years to get the glass plant built. From there, I went to Yucca Mountain to work on the Yucca Mountain burial project. And it's a perfectly viable engineering solution to the problem, but not a political one, evidently. So after a while I retired, and since then I've just been enjoying myself.